Hi there. This is the overview of the course Asian Art, where we will try to examine how we will investigate art in this class. A large part of what we do is look at art and try and figure out what it is. This is a question that even advanced scholars confront, but also beginning scholars. You look at something, you have to ask yourself, what is it? So what can we tell about something just by looking at it? Well, we can see that this is a photograph of a three-dimensional object, sculpture, and judging by its appearance, we can fairly safely say it's made of stone. Now we investigate it a little bit closer. We're looking for some telling details. We can see that it's an elephant, but it's got a very curious human body, especially a large eye, and peculiar about it is it's got this sort of outy belly button, the way a human child would have, but not an elephant. So there's a very interesting human element, elephant thing that's going on in this sculpture. Furthermore, we see these human hands. One seems to be holding a tusk, and the other seems to be holding a bowl, which the trunk of the elephant is eating out of. So what does this tell us? We're looking at something that is sort of a human, part elephant. And on sitting on a large base, which we see skulls, human skulls, arranged in rows below. Furthermore, we look at the crown, and we can see very decorated, richly ornate crown, and cloth like gold and jewels across the armbands and flowing down the body, something royal or perhaps divine. So these are what we can sort of tell by just looking at it. But what do we really need to know? We need to know, what is this thing itself? We need to know who made it, what's it called, when was it made, what's it made of, and what's looking, things specific to learn. So we know it's stone. We don't know where it's from. We sort of can guess. We look at the idea of maybe it's an elephant god. We can Google elephant god, and quickly we'll see, oh yeah, it looks just like this creature here, Ganesh. We can see the bowl of food. We can see the sort of human elephant elements. And if we took it to know that this sculpture was from Java, we could very quickly see that this is the Bara Temple Ganesh from Tuksikaya village in Blitar, East Java. We know it's from 1239 AD. And so we can see that there's actually, something is known about this. What we know right away is that there's no artist's name. And this is fairly common when you look at sculptures from this period. They didn't sign their name very often. And so we have to assume that there's just no way of knowing that. We can kind of know the people and why they might have made it. We know this is a Hindu deity, and that they were Hindu in Java at this time, and so that the values and ideas are probably Hindu. So we go back and look at the sculpture, knowing that it's Hindu. What does that say? What are the purpose of Hindu sculptures? And we could possibly deduce that certain terms or ideas about Hindu sculpture are probably relevant here as well. The idea of rasa, or feeling. And so we can start to look at and analyze this in terms of culturally specific terms, which would have been relevant to the people who made this. Next, we start to compare it to other sculptures of Ganesh, this one from India. And we can start to see, oh, it's very unique, this one from Java. Why is it so different? How is it similar? What ways have they changed? And so do we try and deduce, why are there changes? Did they just get it wrong? Probably not. They were probably aware of the differences and probably deciding to make it different for a certain reason. What reason? We may never know, but we may guess or hypothesize based on what we can tell about the differences. And then we start to look at a number of different images, and we start to think that, well, which is the chronology here? How old or recent are these images? And of course, the image, the color image is clearly the most contemporary image. And so it's interesting to compare these earlier images to a contemporary image. How are they similar and how are they different over time? These things are not etched in stone, they change. So we're going to be looking at a chronology of the artwork. So once we've established the basic information about the work itself, we then broaden the boundaries of our investigation to think about the genre, the culture, historic period, the function, the style. All these are things that are sort of relevant to things from about the same period, to similar kinds of work. And then we can take it even further and we can look at, over a long period of time, what influences, what's the history, the trajectory, how has it changed over time, symbolic themes that have remained the same, visual patterns that continue to exist, aesthetic ideas about what is beautiful, are they similar or different? So this is ways in which we can look at in the largest and most broad context. With our investigations, we're going to have a number of assignments to demonstrate what we've learned. To begin with, the definition assignment, which is usually 3 weeks into our 5-week section. You're going to take 5 of the terms from the term list and you're going to define them. And then you're going to give an example from the folder images. So you say, what the term means, and then you're going to explain the term using an example from the folder images that you've explored. Next, about 4 weeks into our 5-week session, you have a paper to write. It's just about a page, page and a half, where you're going to talk about one picture and you're going to look at it in depth. You're going to describe what it is, what it's about, what it means, what its history is. And you might compare it to other pictures, whether this came earlier, this came later, this is similar but different in these ways. That's what you're going to do on this second assignment. And then thirdly, 5 weeks into the section, we wrap up with an exam. This will have image ID, where I will pick 5 pictures and you will choose 3 of the 5 to identify. There will be a short essay where I'll give you 3 questions and you answer 2 of the 3 questions, giving examples from the folders. And then finally, there's going to be a mystery ID. I'm going to choose pictures I know you've never seen, and you're going to tell me what you think they are. They'll be based on things that you've seen before. So from what you know, what does it look like? And that sounds hard, but it's actually fairly straightforward. Once you've had a chance to look at the pictures and understand what you're looking at, you'll become comfortable enough to do that. All of these parts of the exam are open notes. So any of the notes you've created in the class while you are working toward the section exam, you bring to the section exam and you can use to help you understand what you're looking at. Toward the end of the semester, we have a research essay, the EWP essay. We'll have a proposal. You choose a topic, and then you'll give me an idea of what you want to write about and how you're going to investigate this. And then at the end of the semester, you submit an 800 to 1,200 essay on this topic. And it's a topic you will choose and work with me to refine to an area you want to do the real research in. That's all for this class so far. There will be other smaller assignments and readings and discussions that we'll talk about later.